In a fresh round of comments that have reignited debate over tariffs and trade policy, former U.S. President Donald Trump remarked on America's economic relations with India, suggesting that while ties remain friendly, the trade balance continues to be a sticking point. Speaking during a televised interaction, Trump said, "We get along very well with India, but trade has to be fair. We can't have one-sided deals." The remarks come at a time when discussions over whether the U.S. will ease tariffs on Indian goods are intensifying, with sectors like textiles, pharmaceuticals, and technology awaiting clarity. India has long sought greater access to the U.S. market, arguing that higher tariffs, some going up to 50%, hamper competitiveness for its exporters. Meanwhile, Washington has pressed New Delhi to lower its own barriers, particularly in agriculture and technology, to allow American firms greater entry into the Indian market. Analysts suggest that while both nations share strong strategic and diplomatic relations, trade frictions remain unresolved. With the U.S. presidential elections nearing, Trump's rhetoric is being closely watched in both Washington and New Delhi, as future tariff decisions could shape the trajectory of one of the world's most important bilateral partnerships. Analysts suggest that Trump's comments reflect a broader trend in U.S. trade policy. Even as Washington values its strategic partnership with New Delhi, it continues to seek more favorable trade terms. Former U.S. President Donald Trump kicked off the debate on trade relations with India, remarking, "We get along very well with India, but trade has to be fair. We can't have one-sided deals." His comments came during a media interaction where he hinted at reviewing tariff policies if he returns to power. Indian government officials responded cautiously, noting that India has consistently sought fair and equitable access to U.S. markets. High tariffs on sectors such as textiles, pharmaceuticals, and leather exports continue to limit our growth, one official said. Experts at the Peterson Institute for International Economics observed that Trump's rhetoric reflects his long-standing emphasis on America first. Trump views trade imbalances as unfair, even with strategic partners. India will have to navigate carefully if tariffs remain a bargaining chip, said trade analyst Robert King. With U.S. elections approaching, Trump's remarks carry political weight. Observers in New Delhi are watching closely, as a potential return of Trump to office could reshape bilateral trade talks. The Federation of Indian Export Organizations, FIEO, urged both governments to move toward a balanced framework. Political goodwill should translate into economic cooperation, not disputes, said its president. The Indian government avoided direct confrontation but signaled concern. An unnamed Trade Ministry official noted, "India has always sought fair and equitable access to the U.S. market. High tariffs, sometimes reaching 50%, restrict our exporters' competitiveness, particularly in textiles, pharmaceuticals, and steel." Officials also emphasized that India has reduced many barriers in recent years, opening opportunities for U.S. companies in areas such as defense, energy, and technology. Still, tariffs remain a politically sensitive issue in both nations. Markets, businesses, and policymakers will now watch closely whether Trump's remarks remain campaign rhetoric or evolve into tangible trade policies. Either way, the conversation highlights how tariffs remain a fault line in one of the world's most consequential partnerships. Despite trade tensions, experts agree the U.S. and India remain deeply aligned on defense, technology, and Indo-Pacific security. Strategic cooperation is unlikely to weaken, even if economic disputes persist. Trump's line, "We get along, but trade has to be fair," sums up U.S.-India ties today. Warm diplomatic friendship, but stubborn economic friction. With the elections looming in the U.S., both nations now await clarity on whether tariff disputes will ease or intensify.